In this video, we're going to do the following problem. Multiply cube root of 2 times the binomial, the cube root of 4, minus 5 times the cube root of 108. Our first step is going to be to use the distributive property and multiply the cube root of 2 times each of the terms in the binomial. And this is going to give us the cube root of 2 times the cube root of 4 minus the cube root of 2 times 5 times the cube root of 108. Now in the second term, we're going to rewrite that term so that the radical terms are next to each other. So that's going to give us 5 times the cube root of 2 times the cube root of 108. And now we notice that in our result, in each of these terms we have two radicals. They have the same index, and that means that we can multiply together their radicands. So our first term becomes the cube root of 2 times 4, and from that we're going to subtract 5 times the cube root of 2 times 108. And you'll notice that I've left those unmultiplied together, and that's because in order for us to simplify these radicals, we're going to need to look for perfect cubes. So let's go to the side and look at some perfect cubes so that we can have those in mind as we look for perfect cube factors to be able to simplify our radicals here. If I take 1 and I cube it, I get 1. Well, that doesn't help me in terms of simplifying, so I'll continue on. 2 cubed would be equal to 8, and 3 cubed would be equal to 27, and 4 cubed would be equal to 64. And we could write out some more, but probably this will be enough for us to get through. So these numbers we want to keep in mind to help us simplify, because if we can find those factors, then we'll be able to simplify over here. Over here we can see in this first term that if we multiply the 2 times the 4, we would get the cube root of 8, and that would be a perfect cube that we could simplify, or we could also think of this as 2 times 2 times 2. That will also help us simplify. And over here we have 5 times the cube root of 2 times. Now I'm going to check 108 and see if it's divisible using my calculator. 108 divided by 8, turns out that is not evenly divisible. 108 divided by 27, oh, I find out that 108 is the same thing as 4 times 27. So I can rewrite that radicand in that way. The first one here becomes the cube root of 2 cubed minus 5 times the cube root of, we're going to multiply that 2 and 4 together to give us 8, and then we're going to multiply by 27. So purposely here for you, writing the radicand in two different ways, just so that you can see that either one of those works as we go through to simplify our radicands. So now cubing and cube rooting undo each other. So if we cube a number and then take the cube root, we'll get back to our original number, which is 2. And this is going to be minus 5 times the cube root of 8 times the cube root of 27. And based on our perfect cubes, we know that we cube 2 in order to get 8, so the cube root of 8 is 2. And we cubed 3 to get 27, so the cube root of 27 is going to be 3. And this gives us 2 minus 5 times 2 is 10 times 3 is 30. And doing that subtraction gives us negative 28. So our final answer is negative 28. I hope you found this helpful.